who in the right mind would open a restaurant, especially in this economy? So here's the truth. Owning a restaurant is not easy. And I've talked about that before, and you probably know people that have talked about that. Owning a restaurant could be hectic. There's a lot of ups, there's a lot of downs, and there's always stressful moments. There's always issues with people. Turnover rates are high. I heard Dave Ramsey the other day talk about how he has a friend who owns a couple restaurants where the average turnover rate is 300% and his turnover rate is like 150%. I know In-N-Out's turnover rate is in the low 50s. So is like Chipotle. I mean, not Chipotle. So is Chick-fil-A. They have really low turnover rates. And what is a turnover rate? A turnover rate is basically the amount of people that leave your store. Let's say a new person comes in and then a person leaves, or that person leaves, whatever. The amount of people that leave. It's like 300%. Those numbers are crazy. 300%. Like, how's that even possible? But let me talk about the last week, because the last week was a little stressful. So it wasn't a stressful week because of the amount of work I did. It wasn't actually busy, which is a little stressful because then it gets you thinking, oh my God, it's slow. Is this bad? Is this good? Is this something that I need to be worried about? And as a business owner, it's hard for me not to worry about that. And at first, especially at Whittier, I would struggle with this because my sales were horrible. And now sales aren't bad. They're not good, but they're not bad. They're not horrible, which is a good thing. So I try to think, don't worry. It's just a bad week. We had a couple good weeks. Now it's just a bad week. It won't always be up there. There's going to be moments where you go down, kind of like the stock market. You have moments where you're at highs and then you go lows. It's totally normal. So it was a slow week. Both locations was a slow week. And that was a little stressful because there was a couple important games. The wild card games, meaning I expected it to be busy, especially because the 49ers were playing, especially because the Chargers were playing, especially because the Rams were playing. Literally 3 LA-based teams. Well, Niners aren't LA-based, but 3 Southern California-based teams with a really good fan base that usually when they play, it gets busy. I've talked about it before where on a Monday where the Niners were playing, it was extremely busy. So what I did was I anticipated for it. I put extra people for the same reason. I get to the store and guess what? It's dead. I'm like, what the heck? The day before was dead. And it's like, what the heck? But it's part of the business. You're not always going to have really good days. You're going to have bad days. So that was that. And again, this isn't for me to trauma dump or anything like that. This is for me to show you the ups and downs of the business, the negative, the ugly, the bad moments, where it's not just negatives with business, as in revenue and sales, it's also negative with, let's say, your employees, or if you're in a family-owned restaurant like I am, dealing with the family members. So now we're gonna take a step back to talk about Thursday. On Thursday, I worked in both locations. I'm a person that does not mind working. If I have to work, it's okay. It's my business. It's my dad's business. I will put the hours in if I have to. Never have I been scared of working. Keep that in mind. I worked in Whittier, normal. It was probably a little bit busy. There was some stuff missing, nothing out of the normal. Wednesday was a regular day, regular days over there. And I drive over here and I text my brother, hey man, if you need me, let me know. I'm gonna try to cook. I didn't tell him this part. I was just trying to cook. I was trying to go to the gym because, again, we've been really busy for the last couple of weeks and I haven't had time to cook. I haven't had time to go to the gym. I haven't time for anything. I haven't had time for myself, which is fine. For me, my business is first. Everything else, my personal life is second. If I can't go to the gym, it's fine. Obviously, I gotta eat, but that's not the point. So I go to the gym, I go to the market, I get enough food to cook because I really want to start losing weight. And sorry, that's not important, but I go and I do that. I go to the gym, I go and start cooking real quick. And he texts me, oh, so someone's not coming in. He had texted me in the morning that he's not coming in. What time are you getting here? I'm like, whatever. Go to the store and everything's just kind of like out of order. And I'm like, It got me thinking, and I did let emotions get the best of me. I feel like sometimes, unfortunately, the business relies on me, and that's not his fault or anybody's fault, but that's my fault because I make the systems revolve around me. My thought process was, hey, you had somebody that wasn't going to come in. Why didn't you try calling somebody else out? I was upset. I told him that, and that's it. I didn't want to argue. Nothing bad happened. I didn't argue with him. I just kind of just stayed calm, and then we just worked. A couple bad moments happened. I wasn't talking to nobody. Everybody probably felt my aura, and I wasn't aura farming, but everybody probably knew that I was upset. And it's not a good thing, and I'm not proud of it. But unfortunately, my thought process is that it should not revolve one person. You need systems. You need delegation. You need to be able to have the flow of the business, because if you have no flow because you're relying on one person, what happens? The business fails if that person isn't there. So if I'm not at Rialto, will you guys really make it? That's what's in my head. And it's like, how do I get around this so they don't rely on me? But again, I don't mind being the person that works, especially if someone called off and nobody was able to go. I don't mind that. I love to work. But you didn't call nobody. It's like, why didn't you? That happened. Friday was actually really slow. Friday was slow, and it's like, whoa. I actually went to go play pickleball in the morning. I love playing pickleball. I went to go play indoor pickleball. That's amazing, way better than outdoor. But all right, let's get back to the point. It was a slow day, nothing out of the crazy. That's about it. Go the next day, Saturday. It was supposed to be busy. I was supposed to work both stores, and I didn't, because it did get busy around 3, 4, around the time I was gonna leave. I was like, you know what, let me stay. I stayed, and then it kind of slowed down. My dad got upset because he was like, why is there so many people? I told him I was anticipating for it to be busy, but unfortunately I got it wrong. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Usually we can anticipate and have systems, but it's fine. This means that we can relax. Not me, you, because you work way more than I do, in the sense that you've been working for 20, 30, 40 years. I've only been doing this for 13 years, so it's fine. No scuffle happened, but I was still upset about Thursday, because it's like, does this business really have to rely on me? But I wasn't talking, I was just working. A couple mistakes happened, and I felt like I could have fixed those mistakes. I could have saw those mistakes. I foresaw those mistakes too. And I know that was a little bit of a tongue twister, but literally it's like I knew it was going to happen, but I said, no, I cannot keep putting myself in this, because if I do, they're always going to rely on Jose. So let them figure it out. And I did that. Again, I'm not saying I don't care about my business. I'm not saying do this for your business. If you're still here watching this, cool. I don't preach that. But I said they have to fix it themselves, because what happens if I open the third location? What happens if I go on and leave? What happens if I die? And I'm sorry, that's morbid, but you don't know. In this life, nothing is secure except death and taxes. So I was like, all right, cool. There was a moment where one of the employees she wasn't being disrespectful, but she kind of was. She wasn't answering to me because she was upset that I had told her that she did something wrong, and she's young. And a lot of times, younger people have this tendency of thinking that they know it all, which I understand. I used to be young. I used to be a know-it-all, and now I know that I don't know it all. But she got upset at me, so it's like, okay, cool. If you're upset at me, that's fine. But if I ask you to do something, answer it. If I'm not asking you to do something impossible, I'm not asking you to do something illegal, or I'm not asking you something personal. I'm asking you something work-related, or I'm talking to you work-related. So when I talk to you, I expect you to answer it. And if you don't, you know what? The door's over there. You could clock out and go on your break, or you could leave. We'll come back tomorrow and pretend like nothing happened. Cool. Talked to my brother about it, and I said something I shouldn't have. I'm not going to tell you guys what I said, but it wasn't personal. Again, I was already kind of upset, and then this happened, but he took it personal. My perspective wasn't personal. Again, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but so then we start arguing, we start bickering, and he starts saying something, and the thing is that when I get upset and you say something dumb at me, I will make sure I try to hurt you and say something truthful. So then he says something, and he was like, well, I'll make sure to tell them to do their job right. Oh, yeah, because they're going to listen to you and do what you said because you said so. And I shouldn't have said that. And then it just got worse, and we kept bickering. And, thankfully a customer came in, and I went to go help out the customer. And I don't advocate this. I don't preach this. If you're going to be arguing, take it outside. Do not argue in the store. We weren't being loud. I've done a good job about that, because before with my father, when we used to argue, I used to be loud. He used to be louder, and I would try not to be loud. But unfortunately, I would let the best of me get to me, and I've learned not to be that person, because nobody should see what problems you're having, especially in a business, especially when it's your business. If everybody sees that you're out here having issues, that goes out and spreads everywhere. So nobody knew that we argued. Thankfully, him and I were able to keep it cordial. That happened. The next day, I did something I didn't want to do, but I had put extra people on both stores. And because of the argument, I said, you know what? I'm not going to work. And it felt weird because I just wanted to go to work. I was talking to ChatGPT about this, like, I want to go. And ChatGPT was like, no. And I was like, yeah, but I could save like $60. It's like, okay, $60, or you're saving your whole day and, resetting yourself. And you're right. Sometimes you got to reset yourself a little bit. But Monday happened, nothing out of the ordinary. Worked both places, got a haircut, fresh cut. But that's not the point of the story. Tuesday happened, and I saw my brother, and we were cool. Again, it happened. Leave it in the past. If you're going to argue, leave it in the past. Learn from your mistakes. Learn from it. Worry about the future. Leave it in the past, though. Don't stay stuck there, because if you stay stuck there, you're going to be miserable, and you're always going to have something that's wrong. But Whittier, someone called off, but she didn't call off. She said she was sick. Again, if she was sick or not, I'm not here to judge or say if that's true or not. She just wanted to take a day off. But she had told me if she could have somebody else come in. I was like, well, hit him up. If you feel like they have to come in for you, hit him up. And she did, but he didn't respond. So he texted me about it. So I was like, all right, cool. I was busy. So he said that he'll be there at 4 because something about his car, which is fine. At least he'll be there. In the meantime, the other lady's texting me that nobody is there, blah, 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 that she's not Wonder Woman. It's like, all right, first of all, if you're so busy, why are you texting me? In the sense that if you're busy, you don't have time to be texting. I looked at the cells, it wasn't busy. Maybe I told her, if you need to go take a break, whatever it is, you can literally, and all the people over there are trained, and they know this because I do this personally. You put the sign on the door that says on my break. You turn off the open sign, you lock the door, and you go eat, you go take your break, whatever it is. If a customer can't order because you're on your break, I'm not gonna get upset because you're on your break. It's normal. And then she hit me up with, well, I might not come tomorrow. I was like, okay, I'm gonna tell you the same thing I told the person that didn't come because she was sick. Again, I'm not gonna put quotation marks because I don't know if she was sick or not. But if you're gonna call off, just say, hey, I'm sick, I can't go in. Give me a doctor's note. I'll understand. Nah, hey, can someone else come in for me? Like, okay, if you're offering, figure it out. If you can't, let me know. Communication is key. So she says, well, I'm not gonna come in tomorrow if she's not gonna come in today. So, all right, I'm gonna tell you the same thing I told her. If you guys keep affecting my business, then it's going to affect your hours, because it's okay to be sick. I don't care. But at the same time, I need somebody here. I need 2 people here. And if you can't be here, or you can't be here because you're being petty, or you're having issues, or you're always having emergencies, then that's it. I don't mind closing this shop because I don't have the appropriate people and I can't find the appropriate people. I don't mind firing 2-3 people and me having to do the work and be there every day because it's my business, and I can't run a business with people that I can't rely on. Now, the other guy said he was going to be there at 4. He deletes the message. He calls me at 7:30. Oh, I just got here. I'm going to just do the dough. It's like, wait a second. Why are you here? Why are you here right now? Why weren't you here at 4? We have a little bickering. And he tries to hit me up with oh, well, it was my day off. Like, I wasn't even supposed to come. And it's like, okay, you're totally right. But why would you say, yes, I'll be there at 4 if you're not going to do that? There's other people I could have called in if you would have just told me, hey, man, I don't want to go to work. Communication is key. And I know this video is long, and I'm sorry about that. And I hope you stuck to this part because this is like the meaty part. It's part of the business, unfortunately. You know how many times I've had these moments and how many times I've had to put my foot down? And you know how many times I've wanted to say something nuclear and just be like, you know what, you're fired? And it's really hard as a business owner to do that. It's really hard as a business owner not to do that because it's easy for me to be like, you know what, you're fired. It really is, because if I can't trust you, I can't rely on you, then why do I need you? But I was talking to ChatGPT and I sent the message I put the message on what I was going to send, literally all 3 people, and it told me, hey, if you're going to do that, it's fine, but let's assess this. And I was like, you're right. Let's talk this out. What do I win? What do I lose? I have to work more hours. I'm trying to open the third location, and I don't know if I can because of this reason. And again, if I have to put expansion on a wait because I don't have the appropriate people, I will do it. What was my pushback? ChatGPT said, you have good pushback, and if you're going to do it, I will respect your decision, even though ChatGPT is just an AI. But my ChatGPT is loaded up with so much information that it knows how to talk to me, and it knows how I get. So at the end of the day, we don't know what's going to happen. The future isn't set. Just like we don't know if gold is going to keep going up. We don't know if the dollar is going to keep losing value. We don't know what's going to happen. But all I know is that as a business owner, as an owner-operator at Big T's Pizza, is I will keep doing my best to my abilities, and I will keep implementing systems. And I know that that's what you got to do, especially in these moments. And when I've said this before, but when it's tough, when you really want to do that nuclear option, what you got to do, breathe. Breathe, because trust me, I'm a person that has negative thoughts. I don't mean that like bad negative thoughts. I just have negative thoughts. It's like I can go nuclear and be like, you know what? Because I know I can do it. I don't need nobody. But if I don't need nobody, I can never expand. I can never grow. That's my only advice to you in this video, is that if you have a bad moment, breathe. Trust me. Better days will come. It might get worse. When you're in a hurricane, let's say you're at the eye of the hurricane, you're like, oh my God, it's sunny. Finally, there's no high winds and there's no rain and it's all beautiful. And then boom, the other half of the storm kicks in. So it might get worse. Who knows? It might get worse. I might have to stop making so many videos because, again, I don't have time for it. But just breathe, okay? That's my advice as an owner-operator at Big T's Pizza. If I can do it, I know everybody can, because I'm a simpleton. You know, I said already, but I'm a simpleton. There's nothing special about me, or maybe there is something special about me. I have a charisma, maybe. I believe I do. Maybe I believe I do have something special, but at the same time, that something special is just me being a simple person, and just me being honest, me being myself. I think that's what my superpower is. Not being corny, not being a hard worker, not having this mindset of always wanting to challenge myself and be better. I think my trait is just me being myself and not caring of your opinion in that sense, because I don't care if you don't fully like me, as long as I'm not being disrespectful or hurtful. I gotta be cool. I gotta be myself, because if I'm myself and you like me for who I am, that is the best thing in the world, because I'm winning. I'm winning in life. So yeah, I'll end this video now. Hopefully I don't have to close Big T's Whittier down because I don't have the appropriate people. But if I have to, I will. And I don't want to do that. It hurts my soul to say or even think that, because that's my baby. But unfortunately, you got to do what you got to do. And nothing is secure in this life. Nothing is assured in this life, again, other than death and taxes, okay? So this is your owner-operator at Big T's Pizza, and this is for the log of the Big T's archive.